For years, Living Single looked like the perfect sitcom. 6 friends laughing, loving, and living their best lives in a Brooklyn brownstone. To millions of viewers, it was pure joy. The friendships we wanted, the apartment we dreamed of, the representation TV had been missing. But behind the laughter was a battle no one saw. While the cast delivered comedy gold on screen, they were quietly fighting a war off screen against network pressure, unequal treatment, and decisions that nearly destroyed the show before it even began. Now, after decades of silence, the cast is finally revealing the truth. And it's more shocking than anyone ever imagined. This is a story of racism, inequality, betrayal, sisterhood, and the resilience that kept them standing. So let's go back to where it all began and uncover what really happened behind that iconic brownstone door. Before we dive in, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the full story. The birth of a groundbreaking show. How a 27-year-old changed TV forever. In 1993, at just 27 years old, Yvette Lee Bowser created a sitcom that would redefine Black representation on television. Living Single wasn't just another comedy. It was fresh, stylish, and proudly centered on 6 Black friends navigating life in a Brooklyn brownstone. Audiences instantly connected with Khadijah, the ambitious magazine publisher played by Queen Latifah, her quirky cousin Sinclair, Kim Coles, their glamorous friend Regine, Kim Fields, the sharp-tongued attorney Maxine Shaw, Erica Alexander, the smooth stockbroker Kyle, TC Carson, and the lovable handyman Overton, John Henton. Fans believed the cast had known each other for years. Their chemistry was that strong. But here's the twist. They were complete strangers on day one. Every warm hug, every argument, every inside joke. Pure acting mastery. The show also carried pieces of real family. Queen Latifah's mother, Rita Owens, played Khadijah's mom. Kim Fields' mother, Chip Fields, played Regine's mother. These authentic ties added emotional depth audiences felt, but never fully realized. And that iconic brownstone? It wasn't even new. It was a recycled set from Family Matters, proving that, even with borrowed walls, Living Single built something revolutionary. This was only the beginning. Maxine Shaw almost never existed. The battle that saved a legend. Before Maxine Shaw became one of the most iconic characters in 90s television, she was almost erased from Living Single entirely. Network executives believed Max was too strong, too opinionated, and too intimidating for audiences. But for 27-year-old creator Yvette Lee Bowser, Max wasn't just a character. She was a piece of herself. Bowser had once dreamed of becoming a lawyer, and Max represented everything she admired: brilliance, ambition, sharp humor, and unapologetic strength. So when the network demanded Max be removed, Bowser delivered a bold ultimatum: if Max goes, I go. This wasn't a negotiation. It was a line in the sand. The network caved, but with a compromise. Max couldn't live with the girls. That's why Max's legendary entrances always came from the hallway. She lived across the street, not in the apartment. What fans think of today as a running gag was actually the result of a behind-the-scenes fight for representation. Had Bowser not stood her ground, we would have lost the razor-sharp attorney, the comedic powerhouse, the fan-favorite queen of clapbacks. Maxine Shaw wasn't just written into the show, she was fought for. And this victory was only the first sign of a larger battle brewing behind the scenes. The show that inspired Friends, but got none of the credit. Living Single premiered in 1993 and immediately resonated with Black and Latinx audiences who finally saw themselves reflected on screen. But just 1 year later, in 1994, another sitcom debuted, Friends. And suddenly, everything changed. Queen Latifah later revealed the truth. The president of NBC, Warren Littlefield, had publicly stated that the show he wished he had on his network was Living Single. Soon afterward, Friends appeared. 6 single friends living in a big city, navigating relationships, careers, and chaos. Sound familiar? Kim Coles didn't mince words. Living Single influenced Friends 100,000%. The parallels were undeniable. Sinclair and Phoebe, nearly the same quirky, airy persona, one black, one white. The ensemble structure, identical. Even the tone, a clear blueprint. But the painful part wasn't the imitation, it was the inequality. While Friends skyrocketed with massive promotion, million-dollar salaries, and global marketing, Living Single struggled to get basic resources. Audiences didn't see it, but behind the scenes, the cast felt overshadowed by a show built on their blueprint. And the sting was sharper because it happened on the same studio lot. This wasn't a coincidence. It was a quiet erasure. Same studio, different worlds. The inequality you never saw. On the Warner Bros. Lot, Living Single and Friends existed side by side, but they might as well have been on different planets. While Friends enjoyed luxury budgets, premium sets, and enormous marketing pushes, the cast of Living Single fought for basic respect. TC Carson, who played the suave Kyle Barker, later exposed the truth with raw honesty. He said, "We were getting less all around. And then they created Friends and gave them everything." Imagine coming to work every day and watching the studio pour millions into a new show that mirrors yours, while your own production is told to make do. It wasn't jealousy. It was the emotional toll of being undervalued while someone else reaped the benefits of your representation and originality. There was no real feud because the Friends cast didn't even know. Their fame was so massive, their world so insulated, that Lisa Kudrow didn't recognize Kim Coles when Kim approached her at an event. To the industry, Friends was the golden child. Living Single was the blueprint they didn't want to admit existed, and resentment was quietly building. The sisterhood that saved them. A battle behind closed doors. The pressure from the network didn't just affect the show. It targeted the cast personally. Kim Coles revealed that every season, the executives demanded she lose weight, and the threat was cruel. If she gains more weight, we'll write fat jokes into the script. But the women of Living Single refused to let Hollywood tear one of their own down. Erica Alexander immediately said, "I won't read those jokes." Queen Latifah backed her up without hesitation. Together, they shut it down. Away from the cameras, the cast built a sanctuary for themselves. In dressing rooms, they undressed around each other.
Don't forget you
not
gave
to
me an
compare,
open ticket.
but to celebrate. They embraced body positivity long before it was a hashtag. Their bond grew so deep that their menstrual cycles synced. This was sisterhood through fire. Kim Coles also stayed by Queen Latifah's side as Latifah grieved her brother, who died tragically in 1992. And the key Khadijah wore in every episode? It was the key to his motorcycle. Fans thought it was a fashion choice. It was actually a tribute to heartbreak. The cast's on-screen love wasn't just acting, it was survival. The betrayal that broke the show. The firing of TC Carson. The heart of Living Single didn't break on screen. It broke behind the scenes the day TC Carson, Kyle Barker himself, was fired, and the way it happened remains one of the coldest betrayals in sitcom history. As the series continued, Carson became the cast's unofficial spokesperson. He wasn't asking for bigger trailers or celebrity privileges, he was protecting the integrity of the characters. When he felt the writers were turning Kyle and Overton into stereotypes, he pushed back. He reminded them that millions of viewers saw themselves in these men and deserved dignity. The network saw something different. Not leadership, not courage, but a problem. Near the end of season 4, executives pulled Carson aside. They said the other actors listened to him too much. He sensed danger and asked directly if he was being fired. They lied. No, we'd never break up the group. Then came the gut punch. Carson watched his final episode air at home. 5 minutes after the credits rolled, his lawyer called. His contract wouldn't be renewed. Erica Alexander later said through tears, "I didn't know how to be Max without you." Kyle and Max were the show's emotional core, and removing him shattered the chemistry forever. The beginning of the end had officially arrived. Your life after the brownstone. Reinvention, power, and healing. When Living Single ended, the cast didn't fade. They transformed. Each actor took the pain, the pride, and the lessons of the show and built entirely new lives on their own terms. Queen Latifah became a global powerhouse. Actor, rapper, producer, and star of The Equalizer. She used her influence to open doors for Black women in powerful leading roles, and she never lost touch with her castmates. Their group chat, still alive. Kim Fields pivoted into directing, shaping episodes of major sitcoms and later returning to acting with Netflix's The Upshaws. She even launched a coffee line and wellness brand. Kim Coles survived depression and financial setbacks, eventually reinventing herself as a motivational speaker and best-selling author. She co-hosts the Reliving Single podcast, Reconnecting with Fans. Erica Alexander became a force in activism and storytelling. Her company, Color Farm Media, produced John Lewis. Good Trouble and championed stories often ignored by Hollywood. TC Carson, despite the painful firing, reinvented himself as a top voice actor, becoming the original voice of Kratos in God of War. He also returned to jazz, even opening his own club. John Henton survived a devastating near-fatal accident, rebuilt his life through painful surgeries, and returned to stand-up comedy, his first love. Their trajectories prove one thing. Being underestimated never stopped them. It fueled them. The legacy of living. Single. A family born in fire. In the end, Living Single wasn't just a sitcom. It was a revolution wrapped in laughter. It gave the world characters who felt real, friendships that felt familiar, and representation that TV desperately lacked. But beneath the comedy was a deeper truth. Everything we loved on screen was forged through battles behind the scenes. They fought for characters that mattered, for bodies that deserved respect, for storytelling that reflected real Black lives, and for each other. The industry didn't always value them. Sometimes it even erased them, but that didn't stop their legacy. It strengthened it. Today, the cast stands as a testament to resilience, to standing your ground, to building your own path when the system refuses to give you one. Now I want to hear from you. Which part of the Living Single story shocked you the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss the stories Hollywood tried to hide.